What's going on, guys? Investment Coach Chris here, and we're going to be recapping some JNUG today. Alright, so if you don't know who I am, I'm Investment Coach Chris. I am a financial enthusiast. I like to talk about stocks, and if you like these videos, stay tuned. We can learn together. If you like what I do, I have a Patreon, and all that stuff will be in the description box. So what I'm looking at right now is JNUG. So JNUG is on a 5-day, 5-minute chart. So basically, JNUG is a gold-based ETF that's going to typically do really well when the world or the economy or things around you or that people are investing, if they're scared, they tend to gravitate towards commodities and metals, especially gold and silver, in my opinion. So we've definitely been in a very nice upward channel today. JDST is the opposite of JNUG. Uh-oh, computer's lagging. I apologize. Sorry, guys. Let's see. There we go. JDST. There we go. All right. I apologize for the delay. So, JNUG right here. Okay, so today it's been in an upward trend, which is really cool. Its inverse is JDST, and it has been in a downward trend. So we're just trying to see how long it takes for these trends to subside, because they tend to run in patterns. I say they do run in patterns. When one goes up, the other goes down. So what we have here on my phone, I have a set to sell. I have about I think I hold positions anywhere between $10,000 and $20,000 for this one. I think I have 15, but I'm in at a really good price, and with that price, I'm just trying to decide, is the price good enough to sell now and not avoid missing any more profits. So let's see. So I've already locked in well over 400. So I'm going to say that's good. It still has upward momentum. What I'm really waiting for right here is this exponential moving average, because when we come down this exponential moving average, we tend to touch it and keep moving up. Right? We tend to touch this and keep moving up. So what I'm doing on my phone is I'm trying to determine what the right sell point is. Ideally, with 143, with all these people buying at 812, it really leads me to believe that touching this blue exponential and keep going up is very possible, because over here on the opposite, we keep touching this exponential and keep moving down. So we have lowered momentum, which is not broken up. So the reason I want to do that is because if we come back up to this 820 point, which is 8 cents away, which realistically isn't that far away, the way this stock moves, we could touch that point, right? We could come up here and we could touch the point right here and we could break away. Or when I get to that point, I can lock in profits for the rest of the day and say, okay, I'm cool with that. It's a lot of different ways you can look at it. But the main thing is, from my perspective, when I'm looking at a 5-day, 5-minute chart, I believe that there's a tendency that we kept in, I see there's a tendency that we've hit this blue line, that we've hit this blue line and then continue to rise further. That's kind of what I see in the pattern. So, in the opposite here, we hit this blue line and we tend to go down. So, now it is definitely a potential really good deal for JDST, because JDST, the spot right here, shows a very high potential for a turnaround, but the confirmation has not happened yet. So sometimes this type of a position people will buy now, and I've done it, and it's very profitable if you're right, but this has still not had a break of this pattern. Now if we break above the exponential and then shoot up through here and then try to turn this around, absolutely. But just because you have a good deal on the RSI right here and a good MAD setup, it's very close, and it looks very tempting, and I would want to buy this position in certain points, but we still need to wait for this confirmation, in my opinion, for this exponential, because when we pull back, and we look at this, our exponential still has a long way to go. We could still go all the way down to here. We have all this room to keep going down. So right through here to this exponential. So we have all that room to go. So that's what I'm looking at. This curvature right here, all those exponentials right there. We have a blue line that was up here, broke away, up here, broke away. We're still really far away from that. So in my opinion, I still want to wait for this to go down to that red line. Now if it does begin to curve up past this and we tend to go up, hey, that's cool. But given that the last 3 months the JNUG is down 35% and the JDST is about up 35%, and they have swings back and forth, to me it tends to reason that we still have a lot more room for JNUG to keep climbing and JDST to go down, even though it's over bought and overextended. We're definitely high in the RSI, but we're in the 57 levels. I mean, we're not so crazy that we're up over in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and I've seen these stocks climb for a few days right at the 70, get to the 80, get to the 90, and hang up there. We are definitely, if we click out, we are definitely high in MACD, so this could definitely be a position to where we're hitting the top and starting to go down, but we just don't know yet. We just don't know if we're going to hit this top and continue to go down or not. So since we don't know that, we have to go with what the current pattern and the current trend says. And what the current pattern and the current trend says is we're hitting this blue line and we're moving upward, and everything's going in upward direction, and everything here is going in a downward direction. So with those things in mind, we can also look over here at the level 2, which shows JNUG, this bid price of 75. That's 75. Each one of those numbers, 1 through 75, each one of those, or 104, each one of those is represented 100. So that's 105 times 100 orders to buy at 812. So a lot of people are buying at 812. A lot of people are buying. So if a lot of people are buying at a price point, that usually means they're going to sell later. So if you're buying this for 812, 810, and you want to make 2%, then let's see, it's 16. You're going to need this to go up to 830. So the people buying at 811 and 812, they're going to want to sell at like 830, which is about right here. So that's kind of where the price point is. So people are buying at like 11 and a 12, and they're wanting this to, what they're wanting to do is they're wanting this to break up towards 830 and then sell today for a quick profit, or they're wanting to load up and hopefully this keeps hitting the exponential and then breaking up a little bit higher. Because thus far, we have an 820 little test line right here, but we've really been doing good touching this line and then seeing if we're going to extend or destend. Destend. I don't know if that's an actual word or not. But yeah, right now this is kind of boring for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause, and then if something happens that's interesting, then I'll unpause it. Well, as I mentioned, that we do have a little green candle starting to show signs of life right here, which is good. I'll double click. So right here we have a point that could definitely act as a resistance right there. But we have a lot of room to grow before that resistance comes. So we have some life. We're pushing back up, which is really good. For those of you who may just be tuning in, we're currently selling at 815, which is really good, which pulls my profit margin back up to a good amount. For this one, for JNUG right now, I've got about 2,300 shares. I'm in at about, I've been averaging down So as this has gone down, I've been averaging down a little bit. So I think our profit right now is reaching around the 550 mark, 450, 525, which is good. I like to try to make 500 a day with these if I can, which is really not very difficult if you really pay attention and try hard. So again, we're showing a little bit of a descending pattern starting to come. The biggest question, 8, so it's 9, 10. It's about noon. So the volume's definitely dying on this. It's still too early to make a move. I mean, if you want to play it safe, then this would be a great time to lock in profit and say, hey, I'm good if you've met your daily goal. But at the same time, like, we're doing some consolidation right here. So we're doing some horizontal consolidation, and we have this point here. So with this consolidation, if the volume can pick up and carry this momentum up, we're good, because our last break was right here, and we are definitely well above the moving average daily right here. On top of that, we have a lot of people buying it at 811, 812, 813, 810, 814. We have a lot of people buying there, and they're probably buying there so they can sell right under 830. So they're probably buying to try to get that jump. It's very, very possible. So thought something might happen there, but it decided not to. Yeah, so just like the earlier plan, we're going to pause, and if something happens, I'll let you know. Okay? What's going on, guys? Investment Coach Chris back. So coming back through. So I sold my JNUG position for a profit on its way down. And the reason I sold it was because we broke below the exponential, and then the parabolic, which is these little dots, which I added to it. When the parabolics are on the top, it kind of shows a trend indicator. A lot of people like to use that for trend. So yeah, so RSI was dipping down, MACD was dipping down. This starts coming up. We break the exponential moving average. Parabolics are there, and not to mention we had a very long fall with this parabolic. So now hopefully we can get a very long draw, a fall, and then maybe we had a fall out there. Maybe we can get a push up here. So that was kind of my thought process through that trade. It's a very good potential that JDST will potentially keep going up. So if it does continue to go up above this exponential as we cross up, that'll be really good. Just pulling these back from a further standpoint, if you look and see how these are opposites, how this one just had a really high run today, we're eating a couple of %, and then now we're up here and we're starting to have a potential kind of peak down, and that peak down is dropping below the SMA, right? So a lot of times when this happens, I'll buy into this position, which is the opposing position. Looks like it could be reversing up, and then if I'm wrong, I can sell off my little position, wait for it to pull down towards this parabolic, and maybe add again. But as long as these dotted lines keep pointing up, it's showing that we're trending up. So this parabolic can kind of give us a reference point of how we're affecting the exponential, because this blue line, we want to cross above this and we want to keep going up, and this is our middle VWAP. If you don't know what any of these terms are, Google them on YouTube, or ask me in a post and I'll make a video of it. But this parabolic ... is pointing towards up, and a lot of times what the parabolic will do is it's saying there'll be like a sharp up, and then when you see these little breaks, a lot of times they show you where the momentum is heading. So that little dot 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 is showing some upward momentum, and these dot dot dots are showing downward momentum. So now I'm going to take this, I'm going to unlink this, alright, and I'm going to click here and I'm going to turn this red, and now we'll do JDST now, sorry about that. So now JDST, we're looking at the prices here. The 5-minute time chart still shows that it's still pretty strong, still heading up, trending up. So yeah, sometimes one of the reasons I like to do the inverse ETFs, or just something that I'm looking at that I can kind of see a pattern I could go up or down. Sometimes in that position, what I like to do when one of my strong patterns are showing high indications that it's overextended, I like to, you can keep the position and then buy the inverse, and then you can kind of double your gains as it pulls back, and that can hedge your primary. But if you just want to keep it simple, if you get a stock that moves between 2 and 5% on a couple day averages, and you kind of just see which the momentum is, and you can just keep playing the momentums in a horizontal pattern, you can scalp 2-3% with high bets from time to time. And you know, if you have enough principal that you've saved up, you know, you can pull a good amount of money by doing that over and over again. So on the 5-day 5-minute chart, we're still showing the signs of a downtrend with JNUG heading to the middle VWAP, and we're still showing signs of an uptrend with the JDST. Alright, so with Apple here, wow, what the heck? Also, I just saw Red Hat was up, like, Red Hat's up 45% today. Wow, I missed that one. Oh well, can't get them all. I did see an article about them too. Oh well. So cool, now we're heading in our uptrend, still going up, still going up. So now, since we have a pretty good, I'm going to add to that. So we just had a big pop there. So for JDST 67, oh, are we reversing? That would be lame. We had a big pop, but if that's a play, then that's a short play where someone just kind of pumped it real quick and dumped it down to get some buys out. I don't know. Parabolic still showing this really strong. We have a lot of profit margin up through here. And we do have a potential right here. Let's see. We're going to change this to blue. And then we're going to have JNUG here. Yeah, we'll do it like that. So, yeah, this could go either way, really, looking at the charts. So what you have here on the 1 day 1 minute for JNUG, you still have it basically still going down, and you still have this going up in general. Okay, so from a 5-day 5-minute perspective, right here, we're still pulling up, even though we do have a sharp pullback there. And even on the 5-minute, it's touching that and going up. But if we really look at it, it's really just kind of playing with this. It's really kind of playing with this middle VWAP is what it's doing. Because with my position of JDST, I'm still just kind of like right about even, because I like to play the breaks. I like to have a parabolic ... curving up above a simple moving average. The my two exponentials are crossing up, my MACD's up. I just have a lot of stuff here that's showing a really big, because we started here and then we pulled up. No, we started here all the way down and then we're back to here. We're definitely trying to pull this up. This is definitely trying to pull up, and this is definitely trying to pull down. So if this hits the middle VWAP and hits here, if this hits the middle VWAP and continues to pull down, it's a high potential that on this pull down we could hit here and go all the way back down to 67, which would be, you know, 30-40 cents, which would be a nice little gain, you know, another $100 for the day or so on top of a $500 day. I think it's a $500 day, isn't it? No, because I sold the position over there, it's only a $380 to $400 day. Okay, yeah. It would have been. I was up a lot earlier, but I decided to, you know, take a little bit of a gamble and see if we could break through here. So I risked a little bit of my profits. The call was wrong, so I sacrificed about 30% of my 22% of my profits to see if I could get a breakaway, which is good. So if I miss, then I just sell out, make sure I still make over $350. If I hit, I could make a lot, like, for me, a lot. So I can make a few $1,000s potentially by the end of the day. So to me, it's a good risk to take. And that's one of the things you have to do with if you're ever in a position where you've made money and now the stock, because especially with my trading strategy with patterns and stuff, I'm just really trying to gauge the momentum in the volume based upon patterns that are currently working or not working. So it's a lot of chart analysis and pattern recognition for my strategy, and it works, I mean, decently well. You just have to be a little bit more patient, wait for right moments to act. So yeah, JNUG looks like it is trying one more time to come up here, but these are really weak. That's a really weak attempt. Earlier, when a stock's climbing, man, you need these big, thick candles. Now we're doing red candles, and the green candles are getting smaller, and the volume's dropping, and the volume's dropping. I mean, the volume's dropping over here on my position too, but at least I have a few things on my side. I have the parabolic on my side. I have trying to pull this chart back out. I have the parabolic on my side. I have the exponential crossing below this simple on my side, heading back towards the middle. So I got a lot of stuff still on my side for this position. I really do. But now we're kind of at a point where something's going to happen around this middle VWAP. We're either going to hit this, test it, and come down, or we're going to hit this, test it, and we're going to push up. It's really close. If you're looking at who's currently overextended or not, the momentum for a reversal is higher for JDST, but the daily momentum has got to go to JNUG. So basically you're playing the day momentum to continue JNUG, or you're playing the reversal of JNUG. So if you think JNUG is going to continue going down, we have a blue exponential about right here. So this is kind of the spot where if you think JNUG is going to continue to go down, I say you should probably consider that. And if you think it's going to come up, you should consider that. So and for me, I have a potential to come up towards this point kind of like right here. Let's see. So kind of like right here. It's kind of where I should be getting weary. Scalp some profit right there if I really wanted to. And what I mean by scalp some profit is I could ride this up to here and then sell off and maybe make, I don't know, 50 to 100 bucks depending on how, if I keep the current position. If I load up on it and it breaks above and I ride through that, then I can add a couple thousand every, or 1,000 or 500 or 25, whatever my standard bet measurement is. I can add little bits as it rises, and I like to do that. A common strategy that people talk about is adding, what do you call it? Adding to a losing position, and that is good, and I do that. But I would only add to a losing position if I was in a situation where there's a high potential for my stock to do a reversal, and I've been slowly adding more on my position on my way down. That's kind of how I would do it. Well, I really want it to break here. Yeah. So the question that I am struggling with now is, now I'm going to trade and sell. I'm going to sell my 100 shares right now. Nothing crazy, locked in $16, I think. Yeah, nothing crazy. A little bit more, maybe locked in a little bit more than that. I don't know. I didn't feel comfortable with the position anymore, so I sold it off. Maybe if something else happens later on today, I'll put this video back up. But for now, that's good. I'm Investment Coach Chris. You guys have a great day. Hope you enjoyed the stock analysis. This is me just basically showing you how I would do a position. So during that time, I bought a position earlier, and I've pulled about $16 there. But you know, if I'm in a position that I'm wrong and I have to pull $16 or $20, but I could have made more, cool. Okay, so here's something good. So now JNUG is actually looking like it's trying to go back up, which is good. Because if JNUG starts going up, JNUG has been in a great, yeah. So I'm going to actually potentially buy some of that if it continues to trend up. Because the reason I sold is because we were on that middle VWAP for so long. So I'm going to get a position for about 200 shares on JNUG. So I'm in at about 803. And the reason I decided to do that was because there's a $549 $500 order in at that. So I think that's a high potential to make a profit. I actually just added a big position because a lot of people are buying at that point. There's lots of orders in. So there's 500 orders here, and there were 500 share orders earlier, and those 500 share orders are really important because when you have a lot of people buying, like more people buying than selling, it tends to spike the price up very briefly. So if you add to a position while that's happening, there's a high potential for profit, especially on these potential reversals. And the only reason I'm doing this is because throughout the day, we've been in a huge uptrend. And now we kind of went down and tested this middle VWAP. So now that we've tested it and we decided to come back up, I'm trying to play the bounce. Whereas before, I sold the top position, bought some of the short position down, sold it, and now bought back in there. So I'm kind of just like putting bits and pieces here and there. And since I use Robinhood to execute my trades on my phone, it's free. Now it is a little tricky because I have to the execution is a little bit slower, but if you get the timing right and you're really precise, you can still make it work. You just have to realize by doing this over and over again, you're going to be losing a little bit of profit through your limits and market orders if you do this, but you're going to make up that profit by, even though it's going to cost a little bit here and there on your percentage of what you make, because when you put your limit orders in, execution sometimes is so slow that if there's a big move, you may miss out on some margin of profit, but you're not paying commissions and costs. So if you do this over and over again, you're going to miss out on one of those huge big days or one of those huge loss days, but you can consistently price out a margin. So right there, that's another 11 bucks. Nothing crazy. I could sell right now and make it another 11, but I'm actually going to hold still. And like I said, now we're up 14. It looks like it could definitely continue to start trending up more. And again, we have a lot of people still willing to buy at 807. Now we're up $25, pulling up. Now we're up 32. It's bumping up again. So now what I do is I add to my position. So I'm adding to my position on the way up. Hopefully, as it breaks up, I'm adding to it. I'm adding to the position, adding to it. All right, so now we're up at about 900 shares. 900 shares. It's a long video. So yes, now we're up to about 900 shares. So looking at, we definitely have a high potential. We want it to keep going up. We want it to keep going up. So JDST still on its way down. JNUG's on its way up. So it's in at 809 right there, 804, 805, down right there. Okay, so now we're pulling back. So now on that, we got to see. So let's do. So we change it to a 1 day, 1 minute chart where JDST is falling down with a lot of volume, and JNUG is also doing that as well. So still going down, going up. Sometimes a 5 day, 5 minute chart for these just kind of do help me a little bit. I don't know why as much. It's sometimes the 1 day, 1 minute just moves a little too fast. So JDST is still actually, in general, JDST is actually still moving down, and JNUG is, even though it isn't exactly 100% reflective at this point, it's still showing signs of reversal. Now you may be asking, oh, why would I buy into JNUG right now when the parabolics is on the top showing that it's trending down? This is a higher risk play where I'm trying to time a reversal. Keep in mind, there's different strategies. Timing reversals is a very, very lucrative strategy if you're good at it. But at the same time, it's a higher risk. So based on my interpretation of the current trend, I think overall that there's a high potential that, given JDST has went below the exponential, heading to the simple, and is heading back to this parabolic, I believe that there's high potential that if this continues to go down and break below this, there's a super high potential that this will continue trending down. Because of that, I believe that JNUG has a potential to keep coming up to this. So we just need the volume to go up. And on top of that, with the JNUG position, we still have We have a lot of people on JNUG still wanting to buy at 806. Excuse me. Down here, we have a lot of people wanting to buy at 805, 806, all that. So yeah, maybe it's a good play, maybe it's a bad play. I don't have a very high amount of equity in it, like could lose a position, but I like to position myself here. So if it breaks away, if it does, I can add to a position. So if it doesn't break away, I just try to lose the minimum or break even. Like I could sell right now and make $5. I was up 25 more on this position earlier, but in general, I'm just trying to see if I am right about this breakaway position. If I am right, that's awesome, because today there's definitely a potential for this to go back up to like 820, which is 15 cents, which is like a 1.5% profit just to lock in. So, you know, I usually have, I'll probably have a $10,000 position for that times 1.5. Oh, not $10,000 position times 1.5%. You know, 150 bucks or so. You know, that's not terrible just to try to go in there, throw a position in, risk a couple dollars. If you lose $5, whatever. But if you are right and you make 150, that's kind of how my strategy is. I'll spend a couple dollars here and there to see if I can catch an uptrend. Yep. So that's been my analysis. So again, if something happens, I will upload the video. If not, then you guys have a wonderful day. And always remember, lock in profit. Have a great day.